Hey guys, Franchise Kid here. Wanted to deliver sort of a semi-update slash review of the Gerber LMF II survival knife. And you guys have seen my video, hopefully. If not, go check it out, of this knife sort of squared off against the K-bar thin fixed blade. And what I wanted to do was sort of circle back and give a separate review of this knife and of some of my experiences with it, and some of my experiences with the with Gerber customer service, and sort of get down to the nitty gritty of this knife. This is a knife that is very highly touted by most on knife forums. This knife will make frequent appearances in any thread online titled, only one knife to survive, or if you could only survive with one knife, or, pick your one knife, or something along those lines. And for good reason. The design of this knife, this was designed basically by the military, by a former military, and I believe his name is John Freeman or Jeff Freeman or something along those lines. And they engineered it basically with a survival mindset in mind. You guys may have seen some of the destruction tests on this knife online, where they just put it through a battery of tests and just abuse the heck out of it, and have seen it cutting through all sorts of materials, from aluminum to concrete and all sorts of things. You can find numerous stories online of soldiers, active soldiers, that have used it to break through concrete. And although it'll take a while, this will get the job done. So the design of this knife is really not to be understated. They put a lot of thought into the engineering of it. It's got a lot of efficiencies built straight into the knife. And that's what's really neat about it, and what really makes it a high-value blade. So to kind of get into the nitty-gritty of this, and you can get the specs online, but one thing that I did want to highlight is, depending on when you buy this knife, is going to it's going to dictate what the steel is. And I'll give you an example. If I have this correctly, and I'm going from memory, this knife that you're looking at right here was just sent to me by Gerber just before the turn of 2010, so just a couple weeks ago. And I know this one was produced in 2009, so I know this is 420 HC stainless steel. Previous to that, I think they were using a 440C for a couple months, and that changed, I want to say, in February of 2008. There was a small window of time when they were doing, I think, 440C or one of those other steels. They had changed from, I believe, the 12C36 Skandinavic steel to the 440, and then a couple months later switched right to the 420HC, which, according to some people, has been made famous by Buck Knives. That's what Buck uses. It's a great steel. It provides a lot of corrosion resistance, which, again, coming back to the design of this knife in salt water applications or water applications. And it's a tough knife. So I'm certainly no knife expert. There are people out there, or no blade expert rather, steel expert. There are people out there that know much more about steels than I certainly do. But I do know a little bit about the 420 HC, and if any of you users out there have the Buck Knives, then you're already familiar with the 420 HC. It's a great steel, holds a really nice edge. It's a tough steel, and it'll give you a lot of corrosion resistance. So one thing you'll notice about this thing really quick is it's just a big old package. Two of these leg straps come with it, so when you fasten this thing to your belt and then fasten it to your leg, if you're going to be using it in sort of a tactical style, or you just don't want it to shift around on you, this thing is absolutely not going anywhere. The whole sheath system and the leg straps have been sprayed, I believe, with a fire retardant coating. So they're the ballistic nylon, which is extremely durable, and they've been sprayed with that coating. So this is just a really rugged, tough survival knife system, and that's why it probably gets a ton of attention, because You can tell just by looking at it that it's heavy duty. And it's gonna survive a lot of what you can throw it at. So you've got the clips on it. I took the leg straps off. I don't use them. I'm not running tactical operations, as you guys know, but I have worn it before. You've got the stretchy elastic material at the connection of the buckle. These things are pretty easy to adjust the sizing on, but what they have, if I don't blow up the contrast on you guys, is that rubber material as well, the non-slip rubber that's woven in. So again, when you put this around your leg, it's not going anywhere. So great job, Gerber, good design for you people that are in the military or running tactical missions and stuff like that. Or if you're hiking or camping and you want to fasten this to your belt and maybe use one of the leg straps, it's not moving anywhere. You'll be very happy with both the comfort and the way that it holds. So good job, Gerber. Very good design. I just don't use them. Now, to get to the sheath, this provides for perhaps every single imaginable carry combination. You can see the Tumali attachment with the snaps. You can see you can take this sheath right off and just use the hard plastic sheath to attach either with these holes with maybe some 550 cord or maybe some other straps. What does this also have inside of it? It has a sharpener built right into the sheath, so that's a pretty cool, as opposed to some of the other knives that'll have a pouch here which you can put a stone in or something like that. This has it built right in, which is kind of neat. It's a good function to have on this. Now, what I don't see on this sheath is a drain hole anywhere for water to drain out of. I haven't put water in this one. Maybe if some of you have, go ahead and throw a comment up in the comment section and let us know if this thing drains or not. I would highly doubt that they spent as much time as they did designing a knife like this and didn't incorporate some sort of drainage. So if any of you have done that, go ahead and post it. But you can see this hole here, and this hole here is where the leg straps go through. Again, you can take this entire nylon portion off and you'll just be left with this hard sheath that fits this knife in very well. If you go ahead and watch my review on the K-bar fin blade against this knife, what you'll notice when I put my knife that I had at that time in here into this section, it didn't clip in no matter how hard I pushed in. So the one that Gerber sent me, the one that they sent me now, does that. You've got the two retention straps which hold this knife in extremely well. So this setup, just in and of itself, you put that on your belt, it's going to be extremely sturdy, and that certainly isn't going to go anywhere. Now let me go ahead and give you the background real quick of this knife. This isn't the original one I purchased. The original one I purchased I used a number of different times. I don't know if any of the video footage that I shot, I've included it with it, but I used it in a number of different tests. I don't ever pry with my knives because that's not what they're for, so I don't want to put that. If I was in a survival situation, I would use the knife for anything I needed it for, but I'm not in a survival situation, so I'm not going to abuse the knife that way. That's not the design of it, so I can't expect it to perform to that task, but I used it in sheltercraft, different whittling jobs, shearing, splitting logs, all sorts of tests with it. And what I actually ended up doing, let me go ahead and ditch the sheath. There she is. She's a beauty. It's a good looking knife made right in the good old USA. What I actually did was when I was splitting a piece of wood, and I've remarked this before, I don't like finger guards on the top of my knives because it wrecks your baton when you're trying to split wood. And on some of the larger knives, this thing comes off, and you'll have a bottom guard like the K-bar, large heavy Bowie. You'll have this bottom flare-out portion, but what you'll have is just a flat portion all the way along the edge, so you can actually hit back here and use the entire blade edge, which just gives you more capacity and makes your job a little bit more efficient. This blade length is 4.84 inches, so you're just under 5 inches for a blade length. It's very, very comfortable. It's got tremendous balance to the blade. But what I was doing when I was batoning with it was I hit the top of this guard. And one of my criticisms of this